Now, this is a hunt that was filmed back in 2010, and I think the main reason I haven't aired it until now is because it is very similar, especially the hide building sequence that you're watching at the minute, to a hunt I filmed for my Corvid Chaos DVD. The footage for the DVD won out as I shot 7 magpies that day, which is a lot more than what I shoot here. But this is an old gorse bush. It overhangs from the dividing hedge, and I have made many a hide in it over the years and shot quite a few magpies and hooded crows from it. Unfortunately now, there was the heavy frost and snow a year or two ago killed the bush off, so it's nowhere near as bushy now as what it was, but maybe in a year or two it'll thicken up again, and I'll be able to film a few magpie hunts from it again. But you can see it, I've just made a curtain with hide poles and a couple of camouflage nets, and then camouflage that again with old cuttings of gorse bush and that were laying about after the hedge cutter trimmed some of the far hedges up. Just trying to make the whole thing look like one big gorse bush. So I left the hide sitting for a day or two, and then came back on a lovely crisp morning to conduct the hunt. I'm using a bird of prey decoy. It's one of the big plastic decoys. I think it's a peregrine falcon that I've set up, and I've set a wee motorised feather duster in front of it to get a wee bit of movement, and then set a dead magpie on a little wire cradle I make up beside it to look like a brave bird that has come down to mob the bird of prey. So I've got myself set up in the hide now. I'm using my .22 caliber 30 foot-pound MFR because I'm shooting at quite long ranges. The trees along the edge of the ditch that I'm hoping the birds will come into to mob the bird of prey decoy are running at about 45 to 50 yards almost. So I wanted something with a wee bit more clout to take the birds down at that sort of range. That and this wee valley can get a wee bit breezy at times, and the extra power and the heavier pellet will help buck the wind better. But I sat for over 4 hours with nothing. No opportunities, no magpies, and I started taking my frustration out on my decoy magpie and put all 7 shots from the magazine in it. And what I found from a little impromptu target practice was that I needed to allow far less for the wind for a ground target than what I would have needed to allow for a target in the trees. So I have the gun packed away, I had the camera switched off, and guess what turned up? Yes, a magpie. I've sat 4.5 hours for this boy to appear. Now, the only problem is he keeps flitting from branch to branch, which is very frustrating because every time he stopped there was always something in the road and I couldn't get a clear shot through at him. So all I can do is sit and wait and watch and keep the gun trained on him and the camera preferably, hoping that he'll land in an area clear enough for me to get a clear shot at him. Now at this point here, once I got the camera on him, I was thinking of taking a shot as it was clear, but as you'll hear, when I went to squeeze the trigger I realised that I hadn't fully cycled the bolt yet. But this time he was sitting in plain view, giving me a perfect opportunity, and I took him with a heart and lung shot at about 45 yards. Now there's another magpie in the area as I could hear it, but it hasn't appeared yet. So I decided to go down and lift the bird I've just shot, jump the ditch, which I almost broke my neck doing because I landed a little short, and toss the dead magpie at the foot of the bird of prey decoy, hoping that this might agitate it enough to bring it out into the open where I could get a clear shot. and after about 20 minutes it worked. The bird landed in the tree not too far away from the decoy and then flitted down onto the ground. I got the crosshairs on him and followed him. This time, after my little target practice session on my decoy, I knew exactly how much wind to allow for this bird, otherwise I might have missed it without that little bit of practice. He flitted about a wee bit, but finally settled long enough for me to get the shot off. So I took it with a heart and lung shot at just over 45 yards. The pellet hit really hard, but the bird still managed to fly about 10 yards into the trees behind it before dropping dead. I waited around for another half an hour or so, just in case something else turned up, but unfortunately that was it for the morning, so I decided to pack up and head home. I always like picking up behind me and leaving the place like I found it. I don't own the ground, and it's only through the farmer's goodwill that I'm allowed to shoot on it, so I like to look after it. So I gathered everything up and managed to get over the barbed wire fence again without having my family allowance or falling into the ditch in the process. Just the 2 magpies this morning and a 5-hour wait to get them, but we got there. The MFR seems to be smacking them with some authority, so good job.